What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cool Colas here, and you are now tuning into a new video on my channel. But before we get all into the topic, I would like for you to do a few things. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Make sure you hit the bell icon, that way you get notifications for whenever I come out with new content or videos on this channel. And then when you're done watching this video, I would like for you to leave me a comment so that when everything is done, I can go back, I can read it and respond to what you had to say. For today's topic, I'm going to be answering a question. Should blacks support black business just because they are black? The simple answer to this question, if you are not a performative Sambo, is yes. I mean, very plain and simple. You absolutely should support black businesses as a black person, as long as you are not a Sambo. And the reason why I say that is because we need to understand the economic status of black people in this nation, in America. The reality is, as Dr. Claude Anderson has said many times in his lectures, in his speeches, and in a lot of the work that he's done, we as black people are a permanent underclass, and we really need an economic advantage to some extent. And what that's also going to entail is that we support each other when we are creating our things for ourselves independently. And that means that we're going to have to support black businesses, because obviously business is one of the key ways that any type of group or individual will be able to make any type of economic progress. So we definitely need to do that, especially if you are somebody who is pro-black, somebody who puts black people first, somebody who wants better for the black community, who wants black empowerment. Then you're going to make that a priority. You're going to make sure that you're supporting black businesses as much as you possibly can. Now, this conversation obviously is going to be very nuanced, and there's a couple things that we need to really dig into. Like, for example, one thing that I think we need to talk about too is supporting black businesses of black people who are on code. Again, there are a lot of performative Sambos that are walking around here who have personal self-interest. They only want to help themselves. They only want to be a success to themselves so they can gloat about their accomplishments. And we as black people, really, as a group, we don't have anything to gloat about given the situation that we're in. But I think that if somebody is on code, they have a certain way that they run their business. They hire black people. They treat the people who they hire, that being black people, well. They only are hiring and trying to make sure they're employing and empowering black people, or doing it at least as a priority. Let me say that. Not only, but like as a priority. I think those are the types of businesses that we really need to make sure that we're uplifting, and then we're making sure that we're saying that this is the type of business that we want to support and that we want to patronize. Now, the one thing that I do want to say is that a lot of people have made the argument that I shouldn't support a business that doesn't create a product that I need. And I understand that argument to a certain extent, but I think that it kind of treads that line of off-codeness, and maybe you're even an undercover Sambo a little bit. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. If that business or business product, whatever product that business sells, if that is not for you, it could be for somebody else. So your support doesn't mean that you buy something that you feel like you're never going to use. Support could mean that you advocate for this business and you pass it on to somebody else. You tell somebody else about it. You take a card and you give a referral. It could be that you make a post on social media. It could be that you tell somebody, you hand out flyers and you tell other people about it in passing in your area, or people who you believe could utilize those certain services, especially if you know this individual who has this business has a great track record of doing something that's constructive. And believe it or not, I think that the reality is that a lot of strangers are the people who most of the time are going to be your, biggest supporters. A lot of people, when they get in business who are black, they expect that their family, friends, and people like that are going to support them just because they are their family and their friends. While I understand why you would want that, and I think that they should do that, I think the reality is that from the standpoint of the business owner, you have to understand that you're there to provide a service for people, and you're supposed to solve problems. That's the whole point of business. You're supposed to solve problems for people. You're not supposed to be doing this just for yourself. So when somebody is supporting you, like a friend or a family member, they're doing that because it's you, not necessarily because they need that thing. Should they do that again? Yes, but also keep that in the back of your head. A lot of times strangers are going to be the ones who are going to support you the most because they may be one of those individuals who needs what you're creating, or they may know somebody who needs what you're creating. But going back to the family and friends thing, a lot of times people think, black people, they think that their family and friends are going to support them, and they don't. They think that it's cool, like when they hear about it, and they may like say congratulations, but then you find that a lot of times they're not telling other people about your business. They're not supporting. They haven't given any money towards your business. They haven't really shared it with anybody. They don't talk about it on social media. They don't do all these different things. You see that all the time. I think that's wrong personally, and the reason why is because if my friend, family member, etc. has a business or something like that, I want to be able to tell people about that. I want to be able to uplift my friends and family who are doing positive things. Now, has that not been my experience overall? No. My friends and family have been very supportive of a lot of the things that I've done. Now, have they always needed everything that I've done business-wise? No, but did they support me because it was me? Yeah. And that's why I said that that's how we as black people are supposed to be. We're still supposed to support each other, even if that means, hey, we're going to give you a little something just because we see you out here hustling, you're doing your thing and whatnot. And I would in turn do the same thing. So it's reciprocal. That's how we need to operate as black people. So we need to stop getting in this mindset like we're just individuals who are all trying to make a success for ourselves. If you are pro-black and you have a business, or you see a black business, your main goal should be to support it regardless. That should be like the whole thing. Even if you don't need it, you should try to support it if they're doing something positive and constructive, and you see the way that they're running their business is actually constructive as well too. So again, my answer to that question is yes, you absolutely should. You should if you need it. You should if you don't need what's going on as well too, what they have going on. Now, as far as the whole idea of why it doesn't happen so much, it's because you have a lot of undercover coons, a lot of undercover Sambos who really only have a need to be able to help themselves, and that's it. So they'll come up with a bunch of excuses and a bunch of reasons as to why they don't feel that they need to help other black people. They don't really see the point in it. They don't see any they don't see the effectiveness of trying to help the black community as a whole. They think the black community, they'll say the black community is lost, and really they're part of the problem. So that's my take on it. I believe that we should support black business no matter what. And then I think that even the other thing too I wanted to mention, I almost forgot, is I think there's also an argument that's going around a lot where people are trying to say, is it black people who have a lot of talent or they're doing something business-wise, they don't support people who are talented, versus black people aren't supported because what they're doing is not popular. I've seen that argument quite a bit going on as well too. And I think that also goes into that off-code Sambo territory, which is people trying to make excuses as to why they don't want to support someone else's business, or at least refer that business to somebody else who would possibly want to support it as well too. I think it kind of goes back to that. Yeah, you should get your stuff out there as a business owner, and yes, you should do everything you have to do to try to make a great product that everybody who needs your service can use, and trying to solve new problems. You should do all of those things. But I think that there is a lack of support for black people who are talented and doing their thing, because we don't really, some of our community, they don't really have this desire to be able to help black people as a whole. They only have a desire for, again, themselves. So I think that that's why we kind of come up with a lot of these excuses as to why we wouldn't, from at least my perspective. And I've been talking about this quite a bit. I think that the reality is that whenever you have black people who really are only interested in helping themselves, you have to realize that this is another testament as to why black unity is sometimes overrated. You know, the thing that I tell people is we're going to get our reparations at some point, and we're going to get the things that we have always deserved and needed at some point. But when we finally get to that point, some of these Negroes that are walking around, they can't come with us. All of you people who are like, well, I got mines, what about yours? Like all those Negroes, we gotta leave them by the wayside. And that's just what it has to be. Anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this topic. I have a lot more different topics that are going to be coming soon, so make sure that you stay tuned to what I have coming out. Anyway, I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all's night, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.